Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is an interesting film. It reminds one of live-action cartoon classics like Cool World or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The fact that it's a little bit of a darker take on cartoon culture, really digging into that fractured fairy tale theme, allows it to go into some pretty fascinating places. Namely, we've seen the return of Sonic with human teeth, appropriately dubbed Ugly Sonic, which works as a great reference to the 2019 clusterfuck reveal of Sonic before he was revamped to look less terrifying. And now, in 2022, we're seeing a revisit to that old clusterfuck, demonstrating just how messed up the original design really was. Of course, this all ties into the consistent curse that appears to be on the Sonic franchise, with years of weird stuff tied to fans of its main character. However, it's worth going on a bit of a side tangent here, because perhaps the most interesting part of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is its inclusion of a villain by the name of Sweet Pete, and his story on how he became a villain. Because, you see, back in the 1950s when Disney hired a kid by the name of Bobby Driscoll to voice Peter Pan, they fired him shortly after he started getting acne, following exactly the same story arc as the Peter Pan character in the film. In real life, however, Bobby fell apart pretty quickly after the incredible work he achieved, and Disney made no effort to ensure the child's star would go on to have a stable life. Disney ain't exactly well known for treating its work as well, especially its child stars, and Bobby would go on to pass away homeless at 31 years old, despite voicing a character seen by hundreds of millions of people. So this is why it's kind of weird that they'd give the go-ahead to make his character not only follow the same fate, but ensure he becomes a villain in the process, which is odd. It feels too similar to the real-life story to not be intentional, unless the universe is simply aligned in a weird way, and it's all really just a big ugly coincidence. Side tangent aside, the return of Ugly Sonic to the fray has allowed another more critical lens to focus on it several years after its debut. Not only was it clear that Sonic had a lot of issues upon its first iteration, but to revisit a few years later with a depiction of a character that clearly doesn't look after itself really hammers home the message of how cartoons can become horrifying monstrosities. The concept of fractured fairy tales is a common trope throughout meme culture, and promoting the corruption of childhood icons is certainly something many take joy in. After all, Ugly Sonic feels like the physical manifestation of decades of weird shit all rolled into one body, so it makes sense for people to keep taking the piss with it. However, the fact that Disney has gone ahead and promoted this film with a subplot about Peter Pan being too old for its films is very interesting, considering the tragic past of Bobby Driscoll, and in doing so, watching the return of Ugly Sonic reassures the fears many had from the original 2019 trailer in which he stars. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
And remember, like and subscribe! Or else.